When Woody arrived at the camp's entrance, he was greeted by a colorful sign that read, "Camp Jungle Jamboree, where teamwork takes flight." Below the sign stood a tall, wise elephant named Ellie, who was the camp director. "Welcome, Woody," Ellie said with a warm smile. "We've been expecting you. You're just in time for orientation." Woody hopped down from a branch and fluffed his feathers. "Orientation? Sounds serious. But hey, I'm here to have fun." Ellie chuckled. Fun is definitely part of the plan, but there's also a lot to learn here. At Camp Jungle Jamboree, we focus on teamwork, trust, and using our unique skills to help each other. The jungle can be challenging, but with the right attitude, it can be full of surprises. Woody wasn't sure what Ellie meant by challenges, but he was ready for whatever came his way. As they walked through the camp, Woody saw animals of all shapes and sizes. There was Tico the toucan, who greeted everyone with his melodic songs, a pair of chatty monkeys named Coco and Lolo, and even a shy young jaguar named Juno, who kept to the shadows. Ellie led Woody to the main campfire area, where all the campers had gathered for the opening ceremony. There, she introduced Woody to the group, and the campers cheered with excitement. "Now," Ellie began, "let's go over the camp rules. We have a few basic guidelines here at Camp Jungle Jamboree. Rule 1. Always be respectful of your fellow campers. Rule 2. Everyone must contribute to camp life. And Rule 3. We help each other in times of need. After all, we're one big team." Woody glanced around. It seemed simple enough. He was confident that his woodpecking skills would come in handy, and he looked forward to making new friends. The next day, camp activities kicked off. The first challenge was building a shelter, and all campers were assigned into teams. Woody found himself paired with Tico the toucan, Juno the jaguar, and a chatty squirrel named Squeaky. "We have to build a shelter that can withstand the jungle's rainstorms," Ellie announced. "Each team will need to use the resources around them and work together." Woody, with his quick reflexes and strong beak, was confident he could carve up some sturdy wooden beams. But as the team got to work, it quickly became clear that not everyone had the same idea of how to build the shelter. Juno, being shy and reserved, didn't speak up much, and Tico kept flying in circles, unsure of where to start. Meanwhile, Squeaky gathered too many sticks, cluttering the workspace. Woody, growing impatient, decided to take charge. "Okay, everyone. I'll handle the main structure. Juno, you can gather some vines to tie it together. And Tico, maybe you can find some big leaves for the roof?" Juno nodded quietly and slipped into the underbrush, while Tico squawked and flew off. Squeaky, sensing Woody's frustration, tried to offer help, but Woody dismissed him. Hours passed, and the shelter wasn't coming together. Juno had returned with vines, but they were too weak, and Tico's leaves were too small to cover the roof. The structure Woody had built was unstable and wobbly, and to make matters worse, rain clouds started to gather overhead. As the first drops of rain fell, the shelter collapsed. Woody's feathers drooped in frustration. He had been so sure he could do it alone, but now the whole team was without a shelter. Ellie appeared, her wise eyes observing the scene. "It seems like your shelter didn't hold up, Woody." "What happened?" Woody sighed. "I thought I could handle it, but maybe I should have listened to the others more." Ellie nodded. Teamwork isn't about one person doing all the work. It's about everyone using their strengths and helping each other. Why don't you all try again, but this time, communicate and share ideas? Woody looked at his teammates. Juno had brought back vines, Tico had found some leaves, and even Squeaky had gathered materials. He realized that he had been too focused on doing things his way. "All right, team," Woody said, shaking off the rain. "Let's try again. Juno, could you find some stronger vines? And Tico, maybe you could help me find bigger leaves. Squeaky, can you keep gathering sticks, but let's make sure we only use what we need?" This time, the team worked together. Juno found stronger vines, and with Tico's help, they wove them into a sturdy roof. Woody used his beak to shape the wood, and Squeaky organized the sticks for extra support. By sunset, their shelter was finished, and just in time for the night's storm. As the rain poured down, their shelter held strong, and the team huddled inside, safe and dry. The days at Camp Jungle Jamboree flew by. Woody and his team participated in obstacle courses, navigated through thick jungles, and even learned how to find food using the jungle's natural resources. But as the days went on, Woody noticed something peculiar about the jungle itself. There were strange noises at night. The rustling of leaves, the sound of faint whispers, and sometimes even the ground seemed to shift beneath them. At first, Woody thought it was just his imagination, but when other campers mentioned it too, he began to grow curious. One evening, after a particularly intense day of activities, Woody decided to investigate. He gathered his team, Juno, Tico, and Squeaky, and together they ventured deep into the jungle, following the strange sounds. The jungle was dense, and the further they went, the more unfamiliar it became. The air grew thick with mystery, and even the moonlight seemed to struggle to pierce through the canopy. "Are you sure this is a good idea?" Juno whispered, her eyes wide with worry. "We've come this far," Woody replied, his curiosity getting the better of him. "We might as well see what's making those noises." After what felt like hours, they reached a clearing, and there, in the middle of the jungle, was something none of them had expected. It was a massive tree, unlike any they had ever seen. Its bark shimmered with an otherworldly glow, and its roots seemed to pulse with life. At the base of the tree stood Ellie, the camp director, quietly observing them. "Ellie?" Woody asked in surprise. "What are you doing here?" Ellie smiled warmly. "I was waiting for you. This tree holds the heart of the jungle. It's a living, breathing reminder of everything we teach here at Camp Jungle Jamboree, about balance, respect, and the power of unity." The campers stared in awe at the tree, its ancient presence filling them with a sense of peace and wonder. "This tree represents the jungle's spirit," Ellie continued. "Just like your team, the jungle thrives when every part works together. No one part is more important than the other. The trees, the animals, even the rain, they all rely on each other. And that's the lesson I hope you've learned here at camp." Woody looked at his team, each of them standing together in the glow of the tree. He realized that the jungle wasn't just a place for adventure. It was a living example of teamwork and balance. As camp drew to a close, the campers were given one final challenge: a jungle survival race that would test everything they had learned. The race would take them through the thickest parts of the jungle, across rivers, and up steep cliffs. Each team would have to rely on their skills, their knowledge, and most importantly, each other. Woody's team was ready. They had come a long way since that first shelter-building disaster, and now they were determined to win. The race began, and immediately, the jungle's challenges tested them. The first obstacle was a fast-moving river. Tico, with his sharp eyesight, spotted a series of rocks they could use to hop across. Juno, using her agility, helped guide the team, while Woody pecked away at a fallen log to create a makeshift bridge.